we grew up, in a suburb of Salt Lake City in a neighborhood where we were getting cops called on us. And
this little room, because mom was going to come get me because I crapped my pants.
A guy tried to steal the roll cage from me.
I've got a brand new baby, Lou's not working, not getting any views, not making any money.
we all got together and we had a meeting and we're like, I don't know how much longer we can do this. All right, guys, welcome to the Peck Brother podcast. This is actually pretty fun.
Peck Brother.
Yeah,
There's
it's
three
about,
of us.
It's about me.
Peck Brothers podcast.
Peck Brothers podcast. We've been wanting to do this for forever. We've been trying to get the desk ready, the lights, the mics, and
We wanted to wait until it was dialed. We didn't want to put some half-efforted junk out of the world. Hopefully it's decent. We're hoping. I guess it still could be junk, well put together.
we still have stuff to do for sure, but it's cool.
Yeah, so in this episode, we're planning on kind of going through, starting this foundation of where we started, why we're doing this, and kind of getting to know us three brothers better so you can kind of foresee if it's a podcast that you want to listen to and actually take something from.
It feels kind of necessary to have it that way, too, because it's you scroll to the bottom to see, the very first podcast. I think it works well to have that be you really get a good idea of who we are. And that was part of the idea with the podcast, too. There's a lot of things that we are and stories that we have that haven't made it onto the videos, and I think everybody will be able to connect to us maybe more if they know more about us. I guess that's definitely the case.
I think the easiest place to start out, because a lot of people I see in the comments get our names wrong. So I think we start out with our names.
That's a good one.
This is Brady. He's the oldest brother. You're
31.
Just turned 31 a couple weeks ago. I'm Alex. I'm the middle brother. I'm 28. And that is the little brother, Caleb. You're 17?
How
no.
old are you?
I'm 24.
24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know which one's oldest and youngest, so.
Yeah. Even though he's the only one with a beard, he is the youngest. And usually, it was weird in our family. It went from the best looking to the ugliest brother as time went on.
That's the trend, yeah.
That's why he got a beard, because if he's going to be ugly,
I feel like I
beard.
definitely, so I also have 2 kids, and so I don't sleep very much too, and so with the beard and looking roached, I look the oldest for sure.
Yeah.
But I think when you watch our videos, I think it's pretty clear that I'm the little brother. I think my
Roll.
well, yeah, the way that I am fits well with the birth order,
Yeah. Definitely.
And you definitely fit well with the birth order.
Well, you run with that character so well in the videos. There's no acting there.
No.
It's just flat out. That's just the way things are around here.
It is for sure.
So I do have one question. We didn't really, talk about this. Why is Alex in the middle?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It does go
I'm the
oldest
middle
to youngest.
brother.
But
I feel like I
you're in
am
the
normally
middle.
kind of in the middle.
You're the center. You're obviously mom's favorite.
Do
but
you wanna
why?
be in
Well,
the middle?
and to be honest with you, he is pretty, as far as looks go, he's a pretty decent looking guy. So it works out all right.
I have this recorded.
the thumb, I think our best thumbnails probably have Alex in them. Yeah.
Well, it depends if you're trying to cater to a more
dudes
or women. We're
No.
very strategic on who we use
Yeah.
for each video's thumbnail.
We like Alex. But we also made the table big enough, too, so, we can easily squeeze in, 1 or 2, maybe more people. So, Dad, Callie, hopefully other cool guests that want to talk about their story and business and all sorts of self-improvement things and things that we can learn from other people. It's going to be sick.
So I guess kind of the next thing is I kind of want the viewers to know how we were raised. You can tell that we're up here. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. We live in the mountains, but it wasn't always like that. We grew up, in a suburb of Salt Lake City in a neighborhood where we were getting cops called on us and riding dirt bikes.
It was a really nice part of town. And we were Dad grew up there when it was like a really small town, and then it turned into this really like rich part of the valley. And so we were dirt bike riding, you know, like it's really the way that we are still. And the town changed on us.
Town turned
we
on
would
us.
have fit really well in it when it like the way that Dad grew up there, and the longer it kept going, like.
Well, and that's the
Didn't-
thing is, like, we all started riding dirt bikes when we were like 3. So
Yeah.
we've all had bikes since we were teeny, and that's where it all started. We loved motors, fixing them, and Dad would bring home a dirt bike, and it's like, here, this is yours, take care of it. And if it breaks, we had to fix it, kind of thing. And then after that, it kind of turned into Jeeps. So we're actually dirt bikers first, and that kind of got us
I
started.
literally remember being in preschool, and I'm almost 100% sure that I had a dirty. I wasn't in diapers, so I must have messed my underwear because I was in preschool, and I think I crapped my pants and
On purpose?
no, I don't know.
Where's
I
this
don't remember
going?
that. No, it's a story about dirt biking. So
Dude,
dude, I clearly remember being in preschool and like, you know, because I couldn't be in class because like, you know, maybe I didn't feel
You
good or something.
stank.
Yeah, I reeked. They might have put me in some other clothes or something. Anyways, I was sitting there in like this little room, you know, because Mom was gonna come get me because I crapped my pants. And I remember the sweet lady there at the preschool was like, "Hey, do you want to watch like Elmo, you know, or do you want to watch, you know, some cartoons?" And I was like, "Do you have Supercross?" And she looked at me like, "Supercross?" Like she didn't even know what it was. And I was probably way more that way because like I couldn't watch cartoons with you two. Like that's what babies do. I'm not gonna do that. So I literally asked her if I could watch Supercross.
I'm
and
sure it wasn't super. It was super.
It was Thupaquath.
I feel like every part of that story was made up besides you crapping your pants.
Dude, I literally have the most vivid memory of that. It like I don't remember anything. I don't remember Mom coming to get me, but I remember being irritated because I didn't want to watch Sesame Street. I wanted to watch Motocross.
Well, if you guys go back even like further than that, there's a reason for the dirt bike thing. Like there's a reason that was such a big part of our lives, and that's because both sides of our families went camping. We'd go up in our trailers or tents or whatever, and we'd camp for, you know, days on end, and both sides of families had Jeeps. They had four-wheelers and Jeeps, and every single day when we were camping, we'd go out and we'd do an all-day trail. We'd go in the mud, and the snow, the, you know, dirt, whatever it was, whatever time of year it was.
Yeah, it wasn't just camping like you go up, you
Yeah.
make a fire, you go fishing. Like you camp there
To
to
go
go on the
wheeling.
trails.
to go wheeling,
You know,
yeah.
So essentially, you know, Dad had a Jeep that only had a 2-seater in the back. Like there was
It
only
was 4-seater.
4-seater, but you could only get 2 kids back there. I remember bobbing around back on the wheel well trying to hold on to the roll cage, and Dad was finally like, after I smacked my head so many times on it, he's like, let's get these guys some dirt bikes so they can ride on the trail while I take the rest of the family. And then it just, as we got older, we got bikes, and that was kind of where it originated from.
Yeah, that's
the
actually kind of
reason why.
important to like differentiate because there's really two kind of dirt bike guys. You know, there's track guys and enduro guys, and we fall way more into the enduro. Like we have always actually wanted to do like a hard enduro because that was the riding that we started
used to.
doing. You know, in the heavy mud, nasty snow.
Flying into a snowdrift
Yeah,
at
like
50 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was the riding that we grew up doing.
A vivid memory that I have when I start thinking about when we were young on dirt bikes is, so we lived in Draper, Utah, and our dad it was a little over an acre property, and he started building a house, and then we lived in our fifth wheel there, like towards the end, because he sold the other house, and we needed somewhere to live before the house was done for like a month or two. So we move into the fifth wheel, and the whole lot is dirt. And it was just like there was a house in the
Playground.
middle, but it was just a playground. And how old were we? Like I was
It
going
was
into
two-
third
I
grade.
was 11.
It was 2005.
You were 11?
Mhm.
I know I was going into fourth grade. Anyways, we all had bikes, so we would go to sleep in the fifth wheel. I think we all slept in the same bed because, you know, there's not like there's a bunch of rooms. And then every day, because it was summer vacation, we had no school, we'd get up and all we would do is ride every single day. We'd have Mom go fill up the gas cans, and we would ride that property. Brady would build this jump, this kicker jump. It's probably this tall out of wood, and we would make berms.
Hang on. This tall
and-
doesn't look very like this tall relative to
Sorry.
the table.
to the ground. It had to have been a 5 foot.
Yeah,
was
it's
about
probably
5
5 feet
foot
It was
tall.
huge. No landing.
And
Huge for us at the time.
funny thing,
yeah.
the best part, like you're imagining this, it's important to note that Alex was riding a like XR70. If anybody knows what those, this is not a motocross suspensioned bike. This is a bike made for like an 8-year-old to ride around camp with, and we're jumping them
And
like
he's an 8 or 9-year-old kid.
yeah,
You
but we're
had the
jumping them
80?
like 10 feet.
Yeah.
I think you were on the
Well, I had
CRF
my-
80.
I had my CR85. for a
Jumping
while.
them
One of
hard
those.
enough, Alex bent and broke spokes on the wheel. Like,
It was from that
Twisted the
jump.
swing arm.
yeah,
it was,
twisted the
that
swing
thing
arm.
was junk.
Yeah, whoever bought that 70,
God.
that thing was
He
mangled.
front flipped it.
He front flipped to 70.
Not on purpose. That was your fault.
Yeah,
You made me do it.
you're fine.
There was
I am
plenty of
fine.
that.
But
But yeah,
anyways,
that was like the best summer. Where were you going with that story? That
I'm
was
just
like
saying-
the greatest summer of my life.
that kind of like that's a vivid memory for me is living in the fifth wheel and riding every day. Like I can still picture we had there's a bunch of logs in the back. We'd put wood up and jump over it. Like that was a core memory for me that like we all love riding. We all love being together. We would like build contraptions and trailers to pull around to pull our little sister on when she was not even a year old.
And it was like every now and again, someone would somehow come home with like an Alpine Star sticker. And it would be like, where are we going to put this? Like, dude, you ain't touching it. It's going right on my helmet or, you know what? Like, we were so religious to the motocross world. Like, I remember watching Nitro Circus over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
We'd sleep. Global addiction. We'd just fall
Yes.
asleep to it.
Yes.
on Ricky Carmichael on
Oh,
his
yeah.
Honda number 4.
Dude.
That was like, that's our role model,
Yeah,
is
dude,
Ricky.
my number in football was 4, like almost
Yeah.
my whole life. Like I remember I had a polo T-shirt that I wore on picture day for school because I saw Ricky Carmichael wearing a very similar collared polo, and that was my Ricky Carmichael shirt.
I
like,
didn't know that.
dude, and he rode Honda, so that's why we all love Honda still. Like, I mean, we love Honda too because they're really good bikes, but like we literally, it was like an identity to us. We literally eat, slept, and breathed motocross.
But then when I remember that was our world, the supercross, motocross thing. And then do you guys remember when Travis came out and he started racing and he backflipped at the finish
Yes.
line?
Oh,
we
yeah.
thought,
What?
who is this guy? Who is this?
It was
He's a freak
insane.
of nature. And then it was Travis Pastrana, everything else. We didn't go Suzuki after that.
No.
But we were trying to figure out how to backflip. We were trying to figure out how to do anything we could to be like
We
Travis. We got to
did.
meet him.
Do you remember?
Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we-
remember meeting
yeah.
Travis. We were way young.
Hang on,
but
you can't graze by that. That like was one of the, in my childhood, there was a couple great moments, and maybe a handful, and that was one of them.
Oh, totally.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The picture, we ought to run the picture of me in my bowl cut next to Travis.
Mm-hmm.
we have the picture of all or was
three.
it just
Yes.
me and you?
No, it was all
all
three
three
of
of
us.
us.
Oh, I was there. I was in a red shirt,
Yeah.
white hair. I think it was a DC shirt.
Yeah.
We'll
bowl
see if
cut
we
and
can
all.
find that and put it up on the screen. Where was I going with that? Said something about Travis.
Well, that was kind of became our role model after Ricky. Like we still love Ricky and everything, but he started pushing the motocross like scene so hard, and then we were like almost neighbors with the Godfreys.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other part of that was that Greg Godfrey, which is he was more or less the producer with Jeremy Rawl back in the early days of Nitro Circus, and he lived like 5
5
minutes
minutes.
from the house, and I actually wrestled with Greg's kids, and like on the same like wrestling program, and Greg came to like pick it. I can't remember which boy, it was. It might have been. I think it was Gavin. I think he was coming to pick because he was older than me. He was coming to pick him up from wrestling, and he saw me backflipping off the wall, like 1 foot backflipping off the wrestling wall. And then he got in touch with my uncle, which was part of the wrestling coaches there, and he was like, "Does Caleb want to be involved with this Nitro Circus movie?" And so he called Dad, and Dad was like, "Yeah." And so like I ended up in Nitro Circus 3D, like in the movie. It was the greatest thing ever. Like that was like that was everything to us was the motocross world.
Yeah, it was. It seems like a whole other world back then, like an eternity ago. But it really helped shape
20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years.
No, I don't. Was it 20 years ago?
Yeah,
I guess I was
man.
4. Yeah. Holy crap.
That's wild.
20 years ago.
Because you're 31. That's
Yeah.
exactly 20 years.
So if you
That summer.
if you think about it, like we were all in on that, right? All in on this motocross stuff. That kind of tells what kind of people we are, because as soon as that transitioned into Jeeps, we went all in on Jeeps.
That's what I was gonna talk about next. Is like our grandpa had a Jeep, uncle had a Jeep, dad had a Jeep. All these people we knew had Jeeps, and they seemed so fun. It's like, man, having your own Jeep on the trails, mud on the tires, like that sounds fun. And
big motors, you got V8
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
roaring through the
super
mountains.
swampers for
Yep.
sure. And it was kind of like that transition stage of where, well, I guess you kind of tell your transition from dirt bikes to your first Jeep.
Yeah.
It's more or less Brady's fault. I think I probably would have stuck to dirt bikes if you weren't so.
I could probably blame this more on Mom, because I back in that time, I was starting to wonder, you get asked in school, what do you want to be when you grow up or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'm good at. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at remembering things. I'm not good at science. I don't like school. I don't know. So I talked to Mom, told her, we sat down at the table. This is right in that same time. I was like, I don't know what to do. So she says, well, you love Jeeps. You love dirt bikes. You love, working with your hands. You love figuring things out. What if you bought a Jeep and, fixed it up and sold it for a little bit of money or something? I'm like, well, yeah.
And you were 14.
12.
Yeah, he was 12.
12.
Holy.
So I was like, well, okay, I can probably figure that out. So as time went on, I ended up borrowing some money from Grandpa, which doesn't normally ever borrow money to anybody because he's kind of that type of guy.
It was a big deal.
Very big.
He was a very loving grandpa.
Oh,
he just is, tight with money.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that way for that situation. I think he played it that way so you knew how big of a deal it was, like $1,500 or something.
If you
like
can
that.
imagine
$2,000
loaning your 12-year-old grandson
to start a business,
thousands for a Jeep.
Brady's a pretty responsible kid and has always been extremely responsible. And I think part of the reason that like Mom suggested that idea to you was because that's kind of how Grandpa Dave, made ends meet for a long time when Mom was little. And so he's like, our grandpa is literally, he can fix anything. It's like there's people that just have a gift, and he's one of them.
He's not just a normal grandpa that works on his chainsaw on the
No.
weekend.
No.
He's way more than that.
He used to buy old dozers, like 1950 dozers, and fix them just for fun.
He knows how to rebuild something that he's never worked on before in his life.
The dude has a talent.
He's gifted. And so anyways, that I think part of that gift for like engines and everything kind of like maybe more or less got passed down genetically or something to Brady, because he's always been that way too. And so Mom was probably putting those together and saying, you'd be really good at this.
Yeah, so he ended up borrowing me the money, and that was super stressful to me because he made it very apparent, hey, yeah, I better get this money back kind of thing. And so it was on my back. And
what did he tell you? He said something very inspirational to you that I remember. him saying?
Yeah,
He told you why he was going to loan you that money.
Yeah. Now that you say that, he told me that I don't normally do this, but I like to help people that help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I didn't know what he meant back then. I was like, oh, okay, thanks, Grandpa. You know, I'm gonna go buy this Jeep now. But it makes sense the older I get and see people that help themselves with, you know, a little bit of a handout or a little bit of some help, and it's like, wow, some people will do something with it and other people will throw it away. So that wasn't an option to throw it away for me because Grandpa was going to kill me if I didn't get this money back. So we went and bought this Jeep, and you guys were a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you remember that vividly.
That was
yeah.
so fun.
We went from being little kids, little babies, little, you know, people that didn't feel, I mean, as a kid, you feel important because you're loved by your parents and all that, but you don't have anything. Nobody
the world's scary, and you feel this big.
Yeah, so we now, and I say I had a Jeep, but these guys were as much a part of it.
I mean, it's kind of funny if you really start thinking about those days and how similar they are to these days.
Oh, for sure.
We did everything together.
Everything.
Every day.
The day that you brought that Jeep home, we had a long driveway, and we would drive
No,
it.
we had to fix it first. It didn't run.
Oh, well, either way, we drove that Jeep. Not we. You drove the Jeep. Me and him would be in it hours. Driving up and down a driveway.
Yep.
Like,
Backwards,
what, 50 yards?
No, the driveway was probably
forwards.
150 yards. It was a nice
And
long
we would just
driveway.
sit there and just drive. Like, there were tracks up and down the driveway from how much we drove that Jeep, and we just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it didn't run very good, but I was 12. You were 9. You were 6.
Let's see, if you're 31
5,
and I'm
6.
24, you're 7 years older than me. So if you were 11, I was 6.
So here we were, the Peck Brothers.
No, I was 5.
5 or 4.
Yeah.
I was 5.
So
no, I had to have been older than that. I had to have been 5 or 6.
Oh, he was 12.
Oh, 12. I'm not good at
don't
math.
matter
You were
that
really
much.
12?
12. I was turning 13 at some, like, in
That
the near
summer.
future. Yeah.
That's
Jeez.
crazy.
So essentially, you know, that happened, and we fixed the Jeep. It didn't run that great, and I didn't feel comfortable selling it to somebody that was going to drive it on the road because it just didn't run that good, and I didn't know how else to fix it.
It was sick, though. It was a bright red YJ.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was a nice little Jeep.
It was good looking.
So I went back to Mom. We sat down. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Can't really sell this. She's like, well, you know, we got to figure something out. So I can't remember if it was her or me that came up with the idea to take it all apart, all the parts, and sell them on this new classifieds that had just come out. Because before that was the newspaper. That was the only way you could sell things.
What was that called? Thrifties or something?
Yeah, there was something. Yeah,
That
thrifty
section
something.
in the newspaper?
Yeah, and I was thinking,
Boy.
I'll just put it on the newspaper, and you know, I read the newspaper.
That's
but-
how freaking old we are. What
I
the
know.
heck?
So then it's
There's going to be so many old heads listening to this being like, if you guys think
I
you're
still
old.
read the
Yeah, but
newspaper.
if you think of the young kids watching this, they're going to be like,
The
you were going to put your Jeep
newspaper?
in the newspaper?
yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
So then KSL classifieds in our area came out, and I posted it up on there, and I remember immediately getting calls
For part out.
for part out. Yep. And it was a new platform. People could call me on the phone. I think I used Mom's phone for a little while, and they'd call, and they're like, hey, can I speak with your dad? I'm like, oh, well, how come? They're like, well, I'm calling about the Jeep parts. I'm like, oh, that's me. They're like, okay, well, what about this? Yeah, I've got that for sale. You know, it's this much money. And they'd show up to the house, and if they hadn't talked to me on the phone, they'd ask for my dad, and I'm like, it's me. It's not my dad. It's my Jeep. Like, this is my thing.
Nobody's expecting to show up to buy Jeep parts from a 12-year-old.
Yeah, and
That's
I
crazy.
remember Mom told me just kind of be cautious. You know, make sure you know what things are worth, and because people might try to take advantage. A guy tried to steal the roll cage from me. He loaded up on his trailer, and he went to go get in his truck and drive away. And I ran up to his door and said, "Hey, you didn't pay for that." And I called him out, and he got out and wasn't happy
Dang.
about it. And yeah, he bought other parts from me too, but he thought he was just going to get that one for free. But yeah, he was trying to take advantage of me. And that's essentially where that went. So I ended up doing that a couple more times, and finally, after paying Grandpa back after that first one, I'd made a couple bucks, and then I think Alex caught on to that and said, "Wow, Brade's making money."
That's really where it started.
That I didn't have that mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna go borrow money, I'm gonna part it out, I'm gonna try to make money. Like, that just didn't. I wasn't like that, and I never remember having the conversation with Dad, but it was pretty much like, hey, I'm not buying you a car, like when you turn 16. He never told me that. I just kind of knew because he didn't buy you anything. And so I'm like, well, if I want something to drive, I better figure it out. And we had these CRF 150s. He bought them brand new when I was 13, maybe 12. We rode them for a couple years, and he came to me. He's like, this is your bike, so do with it what you want. And I'm like, well, I'm 14. He had a Jeep. I wanted a Jeep so bad. We kind of stopped riding as much as we did.
Hang on. I bet everybody that knows these two could imagine those two bikes and what they looked like. Brady's was always, I'm not kidding, like tire shine, perfectly wiped down on a stand in the garage with a blanket over it.
Oil change.
Alex's was outside, covered in mud, bald tires. And I remember, I think Grandpa and somebody was laughing about the difference between the two bikes, and I didn't think it was that funny. But looking back on it now, it's hilarious.
Well, a side story with that, don't let me get off track here. We went to a sandhill one time, and this freaking goof made it because his bike had more power than mine.
And your bike had a pipe on it.
Yeah, that made me so mad, dude.
I loved
so mad.
that.
And I was like, maybe I shouldn't take care of my stuff.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. Anyways, I had to throw that out there.
So anyways, I'm like, well, I have this bike. It's probably worth, God, I can't remember, $2,000. 2,500 bucks. So I'm like, I posted it. I was 14. I was in 9th grade. And someone came and bought it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have enough money to maybe get a Jeep.
First time you'd seen $100 bills.
Yeah, for real though. Like, I didn't have anything.
And those were some hard times.
Yes.
When we started into that.
We should probably note this is during the recession of 2007, 2008, and our family just so happened to be in the construction world in the middle of some big projects. And things were getting very, very tough at this point.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of money to go around. And that's another reason why I was kind of like, I'm not even going to ask Dad.
Yeah.
Like, I know he can't probably. So anyways, this was kind of a tough time. But I sold the bike, and I started looking at every Spanish class. I'd get on the computer, and I'd look at these Jeeps on KSL. And I found like 3 we went and looked at. We went and looked at one in like Wyoming, and it was trash. It's like, gosh dang it. Like, I just want a sick Jeep. So I finally found one, and it was just a YJ. Didn't even have a top, nothing, but I got it for $2,350.
Is that little Timmy?
That was little Timmy.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the 4.0. It had
Spray
a
painted
manual.
black.
I had never driven a manual in my life. So I think you drove it home.
Hang on.
Someone drove it home.
Hang on, I think you were 15.
I was 14 when I bought my first Jeep.
Because some way or another, he got his permit on
day.
the way to Moab.
Yeah, he was.
And we brought
That's what it was. I was 14, and I had it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And Dad was like, if you can go get your permit, we'll bring your Jeep to Moab.
Yeah.
So I was studying, and still learning how to drive a manual in our neighborhood. And anyways, I got my permit. We took it to Moab. It was just this little stock YJ with like 33s on the back of a trailer with Brady's 40-inch tired V8 CJ7. It looked goofy, but man, I was in heaven.
We put a winch on it though right before. We sledgehammered the grill in for the winch to fit.
Yeah.
And then you loved my chrome bezels on my headlights, so we went and got some spray paint.
Chrome.
Spray chrome.
And it was an 8274.
It was Dad's winch.
Yeah.
So at the time, things were getting bad enough that Dad was actually having to get rid of his Jeep to free up some cash. And that winch came off of Dad's Jeep.
And the seats went in the next Jeep. You had those purple Mastercraft seats.
Yeah.
They went in the next YJ. But yeah, I remember I put that winch on, and then I ended up selling that Jeep, and I walked in with all this cash. I'm like, man, this is sick. And Dad was like, so where's the money for my winch?
He did?
Yeah, I paid Dad for his winch.
Oh, my
Because
gosh.
he told me, he's like, you can put it on there, but don't sell it with it. And my thick head did. So I paid Dad for his winch. And
That is like the furthest thing from what I could ever imagine Dad saying.
it wasn't like a rude. He was just like,
hey, buddy.
yeah.
Did
And I
that
was like,
winch go with it?
oh, I'm so sorry, Dad. So I gave him my cash.
$20.
Dad is like the least. Dad is like the least caring guy about things I think I know.
He's the most perfect. Well, I shouldn't say boy dad, but he parented us so well.
Yeah.
I don't know
the
what our-
best dad ever.
Yeah, I mean, we have a phenomenal mom as well, but like dad just knew how to handle us. He knew how to stand back and let us do our thing and get hurt sometimes or figure things out when things got hard, but he also stepped in when he had to.
But it was in the perfect moment that he would step. He wouldn't step in much. Like these days that we're talking about, like Dad really wasn't around. I mean, all the guy did was work.
Yeah.
I-
just to keep us going.
And so,
When
yeah,
he says
so
he
like-
wasn't around, it was like he just worked. You know, we'd wake up, he was already to work, and then we'd go to sleep, and he wasn't even back from work. Like, he
yes.
just, to keep it afloat,
We
he
didn't
just
see
had
him
to
a
work.
lot.
And like, I mean, obviously that wasn't on purpose. I'm sure he would have loved to spend more time with us, but it did kind of make it so like, hey, when somebody's tube is popped on their dirt bike, like Dad's not here to fix it. Like
Yeah.
we've got to figure out how to get this flipping tube out, you know,
Yeah.
and fix it.
Well, and
Or
mom's
he'd bring one home some days when he'd get home early, kind of thing. Like, he would love to help, but most of the time it's like, hey, it's 10 a.m. and I want to ride. It's
Yeah.
like, we'll
Well,
figure it out.
back then, I mean, you take somebody in construction during this crash of the economy and having, a stay-at-home mom taking care of 4 kids, young kids that are expensive kids.
And he had a shop full of employees
Yeah.
that needed to get paid,
I mean,
that had families.
That is a lot of pressure to be able to just maintain day by day. So
Yeah.
props go out to Dad for putting up with that and dealing with that and getting back on top after that kind of a
He's legit
kick.
the strongest guy I know.
He is. And I was talking to my wife about this the other day when I started thinking, because, all of our lives we've just bought and sold things. We'd buy things for a good deal. We'd make them nice. We'd flip it for a profit. We've done that like our whole life. And I'm like, I'm so grateful that Dad didn't, hey, here's a new truck for you to drive in high school. Like, I wouldn't have learned that lesson of how to do that. And that has helped me through my whole life, like be a salesman and, all these things. Like, the lessons that he's taught us through his hard work and through his parenting, like, they got us to where we are today. I'm grateful for that.
Definitely.
For sure. Yeah, Dad's the man.
So how'd you get a Jeep?
I mean, more or less, it was kind of the same thing. I had a 150. Well, actually, I had a freaking. There's so many stories that like I just don't want to. I don't want to bombard this whole thing with a bunch of stories. But I had this 150, and I'm actually the only one out of us 3 that's never actually had anything new ever from a dealership. So my bike was a secondhand bike, partially because the bike before that got stolen.
Because you left it out leaning against the
That's
mailbox.
a story for another time. But Alex found this bike actually for like $600 or something like that, and it didn't run. And him and his buddy went and picked it up, and like the guy couldn't get it started. Alex takes it into the parking lot. I think he messed around with the spark plug boot or something, kicked it, got it started in a Walmart parking lot after they left. $600 for this bike. And so he brought it home, and Dad was like, well, Caleb doesn't have a bike. I'll buy this from you for Caleb. And I don't know.
That was the bike
Yes.
that you had?
Yes, that was my bike.
I was in high school planning on flipping it.
Yeah.
I drove all the way out to Tooele to buy this bike.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. I can't.
Yeah.
You've had a couple of my old things.
Yeah. Oh, I buy
The bike-
everything of everybody's stuff they're trying to get rid of.
You bought one of my old Jeeps that I bought to flip.
I did, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
funny. I forgot about that.
But yeah, I had that bike and rode it for a while, and sold it and found and this was like right around the time stuff was getting way hard, and I found this Jeep. Me and Alex were actually up at Grandpa and Nanny and Grandpa's house.
This is when we had to move out of our childhood house.
Yeah, yeah, and it wasn't like a really good, happy thing. It was a really hard time. Brady was gone, and yeah, it was tough. So me and Alex were up at Nanny and Grandpa's, and I found this thing on KSL, and it was down at Hill Air Force Base, and it just didn't run very good. I had no idea what was going on with it. $1,800, just sold the bike. We went and picked it up with Grandpa's trailer and Alex's truck, brought it back up there because I didn't have a
Dad
place
met
to
us
take us.
there. I think he had the cash or something.
Oh, maybe
Remember
he did.
Dad was there?
Yeah, I do remember. But yeah, it stayed up at Nanny and Grandpa's, and the header was cracked, and I had to take the whole manifold and everything off, and I was actually 12, and I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, it's the same sort of story as these guys, and I loved riding so much that I probably wouldn't have done that had these guys not done it, and be like, oh, I kind of want one of those Jeeps. They're really cool. Brady's cool. Alex is cool. I need to fit in, so I need a Jeep too. And I'm not saying that
you were pretty into football.
Oh, I was way into football. Yeah. Yeah. I've played football since I was 8, and that was like my life. So
me and Alex always kind of motivated Caleb, like, dude, can you imagine what it would be like if all three of us had our own Jeeps and we put them on a trailer and we went somewhere and we went wheeling, all three of us? Like,
yeah.
How crazy would that be? Because we're just trying to make it in this world. Like, it's all, we just want to make a dent here, you know?
So fast forward after all of that. So let's see. I graduated high school the summer of 2015. You came back from your mission that summer, and that's when the whole family moved to Idaho. And I actually stayed living in Draper. These guys all moved up here. And that's kind of when, like, that was a weird stage because, like, that was the first time we weren't all together when we could be. Like, you were gone on a mission for 2 years, and then me and him became best friends. And
you were working, too. You had
I was working at Terraflex.
Pretty good job, and you liked the guys you were with, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do because my Jeep business was gone. 10,000 other people caught on to my idea, and they started doing the same thing. So I'm like, oh, this ain't going to work. And frankly, didn't really want to be like a mechanic my whole life doing that specifically. So
I think it's also good to note, too, like at this time, we were so broke. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, you're talking like when you can't afford a pair of shoes. That's the kind of broke we're talking about. Like, Mom and Dad made it happen when it had to happen, but like there was no, hey, those look cool. Could I get those? Absolutely not, unless you absolutely need them.
Like, this was trying to recover from that 2008 downturn.
Yeah,
it bled in.
Years and years and years.
It was tough.
Yeah, and like I remember getting a couple bucks to put like gas in my dirt bike and thinking, oh my gosh, like this is phenomenal. I'm going to have a full tank of gas. And like around that time, like I had a Jeep, and I think I had a bike too somehow. I think I'd flipped a couple of things or whatever, and you had a 4-wheeler. Me and Brady kind of got a couple of things back into, and we would just ride all the time up here. It was like
heaven. Like our reunion after I came home from my mission. It was like, now let's be brothers again.
We hung out all the time.
I would come up with my bike, and we'd ride all weekend.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I think it's important to note, too, that when we lived in Draper, when we were little, like, obviously not everybody knows, it's like, it's hard to describe. I guess it's a city. We lived in a little bit slower part of the area, but it's like a bunch of subdivisions. Like, it's just a kind of a big city. And we always dreamed of being like, one day we're going to have this ranch and property, and we're going to have a track, and we're going to have all this stuff. And so we're like, one day we're going to move to Idaho or Montana or something cool. And so when we moved up here, the circumstances were terrible, But we still were kind of like, we kind of did it. We moved to Idaho.
Trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is this area was found because Dad needed Jeep parts for, I think, one of us. Or
No, it was
one of
his Jeep. He bought a Dana 60 for his front axle.
He came up here and he went home and told everybody about it and was like, you guys wouldn't believe how beautiful this area is that I found and blah, blah, blah. And it's just funny that this ended up being that area. So
yeah, that, I guess, after that, you know, a couple years had went by. We dirt bike. You had a Jeep. I didn't have a Jeep. No, I did have a Jeep. I bought a Jeep.
You had a Jeep
that
you've
summer.
had 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, after that, I moved back up here, started going to school. Brady started a construction business and started building homes. You were still in high school, and we were kind of all doing different things, but we'd all hang out together all the time. And a couple years after that is when you got that CJ7 Dan's old Jeep, and we put an LS in that Jeep in a week.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Jeep. You had a Jeep. And that's when we went to Trail Hero for the first, Winter 4x4.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Jamboree.
Yep.
Together.
We put Brady's Jeep and my Jeep on the trailer, and then we put street tires on the back of his Jeep and hung it off the back of the gooseneck, and just us three went to Jeep. And that was like the change of like, this is living.
It was the most fun I think I've still ever had was that trip. And like I
we
think
stayed with a super creepy lady that kept hitting on Alex.
That's how much money we didn't have. We Airbnb'd one room
in a
for all
lady's
three of us.
house. It was like $20 a night.
Yeah, somebody slept on the floor.
And we were like, how are we going to pay for this?
Yeah.
She
I
was
think
weird.
It's important to note too that at the time Brady started this business, and part of the reason he started the business was because Dad, he's always built cabinets pretty much his whole life. And he had this business, was kind of in business with his brother, and he would drive like 2.5 hours to work every day from home.
When we lived in Idaho, he would drive to Utah every day and back
and so
to work.
Brady was like, want Dad to be around way more. And so, Dad, obviously, he's got to make ends meet for everybody. And so Brady started this business, got some jobs, was doing jobs, got tools, got all this stuff going, and got all this, started up and get enough momentum going. And then Dad finally was able to come work with Brady, and they worked together building houses for a couple of years. And then Brady built himself a house, and my dad built himself a house. And things were, like, after that is when things started, we started working our way out of the disaster that had come because of 2008. And so Brady was knee deep in building this construction business when all of this was kind of going down.
Everybody was so in such survival mode at the time that it was like, well, we can continue to just struggle. Because when you get in that, like, there's so many people in that struggle. I don't know how to make ends meet. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I spend more than I make. That kind of mindset, that is extremely hard to get out of. And I felt like I was in that too. Everybody was kind of in that because life had just overtaken us, right? We weren't in control. So at that point, I was like, I want to get out of that. I don't want to struggle for money. I'm going to put savings away. I'm going to be safe. I want to kind of emulate Grandpa Dave, who lent me that money and had money to lend me, at that time. I want to be that guy. So essentially that's what the motivator was. It was a lot more than just, hey, I'm going to start a construction company and go work so I can make some money. It was more like, I want to make something from this. I have a plan. This is my first step in getting out of this. I don't know if you could really call it poverty. It's not really poverty because we did have, things that we needed, but
like, it's important to note that when Brady and Kirsty got married, they got married and came back and lived in Mom and Dad's fifth wheel.
Yeah.
In the front yard.
Yeah. We weren't messing around when it came to what we were putting into this. It didn't matter if we were eating Vienna sausages and whatever every single day. We'd live in wherever we needed to live. I would do whatever it was that I needed to do. I fed 600 head of cow for a whole entire winter just
because
to live.
because it was too cold. Like he had to winterize the fifth wheel because all the pipes would freeze because it gets plenty cold up here.
That was the year it got to -20.
-20, and they couldn't live in a fifth wheel. So Brady's like, we can't afford to live
Anywhere
anywhere else because he's trying to start this business, and moved in with some neighbors that were 5 minutes down the road.
Found a guy that traded rent money for feeding cows.
Yeah.
And I remember,
on Christmas
getting
Day.
up on
Yeah.
Christmas. It was all three of us.
Yeah, you guys
Yes.
came and helped.
It was -20 degrees.
Wind
And
blowing.
How old was that guy?
He was 86 or something.
And
like
he
that.
was chucking hay bales farther than we could.
Yeah, he was mostly driving.
The guy was a
truck.
dog. Those old
Dude.
farm guys they're built
They're tough.
different.
I
do
remember
remember-
breathing the air, and your nostrils would freeze,
Yeah.
like on your breath. It was
Cold.
terribly cold.
I do remember, though, on that day that it was Christmas Day. Or no, it's Christmas Eve day, right? I think it was before Christmas.
One of the two.
It was either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I remember the sky was blue, so it was really cold morning. There was no overcast to hold some of the heat in. I remember seeing the sun come up over the mountains, and it was such a beautiful morning. And I was kind of grateful because we kind of came to help you
Mm-hmm.
and help. His name was Bob,
Mm-hmm.
and like to be a little bit in the spirit of giving that day. I remembered
That
it
was
being
fun.
miserable, but I remember being a little bit like, this feels good, you know?
Yeah,
I was
did.
happy to be there.
It was so fun having you guys there that day because I'd done it myself, and bucking that much hay for that many cows. I was beat every morning. I'm like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get out of this because when I get done, I had to feed them twice a day. And when I would get
that was
done,
tough because one, you had to load the truck. Two, you
Yeah.
had to chuck them out and then go load the truck again, do it again. So you had to load the truck twice every time you fed them.
and then I'd load them again to be ready for when we'd feed next.
That was
So
a
it
lot.
was just like, it was very inefficient the way that we were doing it, but it was the only way he knew, and it was the way that he did it, and that's the way I respected it and did it. But long story short, at that time, failure was not a choice. It didn't matter what it was. And at that moment, there was some life-changing things that happened that I won't necessarily go into, but that spring, I bought my first piece of land and started building our house. Me and Kirsty did. And the thing about it was, at that time, I had never had a real job. Like, I probably shouldn't say that. I didn't really pay any taxes on my little Jeep business. So I never had a credit card. I never had a loan. I never had a boss. I never had, not even an apartment. I didn't have anything. So when I went to a bank, hey, I need a loan for a few $100,000 to build a house or to buy a house, they just laugh at me. I'm like, I am 21 years old. I know kids that are 21 years old that can get a loan. Why can't I get a loan? Whole big old thing. And I thought, since I don't have the things that they're looking for, I'm never going to get this loan. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was almost like a flashback to what Dad was dealing with after that whole thing went down. It was like, the world is hard. What is this about? Like, am I actually big enough to overcome this? Like, am I just dumb? Do I not understand? What am I missing?
And you were never, the reason that it was that way is because you were never like, you never were going to go get a 9-to-5 ever.
No.
Like, that was just not on the table for you.
And it wasn't necessarily because, like, it was a 9-to-5. It was just that, how am I going to have time to kind of spread my wings and do something great, start a business, overtake a business and make it better, or do something that I wanted to do that was bigger than what we were used to? How am I going to do that when I'm working that many hours for somebody else, making not that much money? Because wages were pretty low back then. You came up to a small town, even finding a job was hard. Then you find a job, and it was like, yeah, dude, you $7 an hour is all I can do. It's like, oh man, dude, I work all day, make $40. Where am I? I can't get a house doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And somehow, some way or another,
It happened.
I mean,
That's the thing.
wasn't, I think, to wrap that story up of the kind of the miracle or the blessing there is the guy that Brady was able to get in touch with to try and figure out how to do this loan. Because once the house is built, then it's worth something. Then it's much easier to get financing for because there's collateral. But until the house is done, it's worth nothing.
But
and somebody's
also-
going out on a limb.
Yeah.
And the guy was more or less like he could pick up this kid. This
Be
kid's gonna do
serious.
what he says he's gonna do. And the guy trusted Brady with, $200 and something thousand or whatever, and loaned this money to Brady
private money.
private money, and he did it and finished the house and paid the loan off, and it was like that. Anyway, that's just a cool story to get like more understanding of who Brady is.
It's pretty fun to like tell you guys about these things because you get to see Brady in the videos, but you don't get to see the background of why he is the way he is. Like, if Brady gets told no, it's not a no.
It's
like,
fuel.
how else can I figure this out? Like, he never lets no's stop him, which I think is why, we're here.
We definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
with everything we've done, it's like, man, you put Brady's mind to something, it will get figured out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we decided to run with this, years ago, we started an Instagram page, and it was something that I was very insecure about. I wanted it bad. I loved the idea. I loved that there was no cap, that there was, we could influence people in a positive way. Like, there were so many things that I was just all about, but I didn't know how to do it. I'm a very practical person. I'm a very realistic. I don't know content. I don't watch movies. I'm just that kind of person. I'm old school. But with these guys, they knew that stuff. They were characters. They were dig in and figure out how to, film this. They were, while I'm running the business, making sure that the funds are there to keep things going. I remember Caleb, he was building his Jeep, and we thought, this is going to kind of set up Peck Brothers. This is what's going to make us somebody. This is going to put us on the map. And I had finished my house. Mom and Dad sold their house, going to build another one. And Caleb, that's where Caleb was building his Jeep. And he came to me and says, I got to sell my Jeep. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm like, well, dude, what about a storage unit or something? He's like, well, then I don't have my tools. I don't have a welder. I don't have any of that. I'm like, you come up, put your Jeep in my brand new, clean, perfect garage that I didn't want anything to be worked on in there because I wanted it for storage and nice because I had a lot of crap to keep in there. And, I was painting doors and doing all that stuff in my garage. And Caleb's like, okay, we brought it up and you finished your Jeep there. And I said, on one condition. Remember what it was?
Was it that I cleaned stuff up and put
That,
stuff back,
yeah, that was
and
a
that
big one.
and that it was done before? Let's see, it was wintertime, so I think you said less than a year or
Yeah.
something like that.
And that Kirsty's car was pulled in.
Yeah.
Every
Kears had a
night.
place to park.
But there was another thing. Was you've got to make content with it.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to film it.
So-
and
so
I was
I-
asking a lot looking back on that, and I remember thinking, I'm doing him a favor, which clearly was, but then also having Caleb work a job and earn money. At this point, he's just getting to the point where he's meeting his fiance, Lou.
Mhm.
He's building a Jeep. He's trying to get somewhere in life. He's trying to do so many things, and then on top of that, he's got to film it, edit it, and post it. I was looking back on it now. I was like, I don't think now I could even almost do something like that. I mean, we do hard things here now. Things are not easy by any means, but that was a lot.
Yeah, it was a handful for sure, and that was so to go back to a square one. Me and Alex were building Jeeps in mom and dad's house, and we would have a lot of fun out in the garage. Like, we'd have the stereo out there, you know, Morgan Wallen's first album came out. Like, things were just, I mean, it was a fun dang time.
We were living.
We were
That was
living.
a good time.
We were living. And I was in high school. I think I was a senior or something like that. And
I was on probably year 2 of college at Utah State.
and we would just laugh all night. We would work until like 3 in the morning, and Mom would be able to hear us because the kitchen was right next to the garage. And that was when Mom started like pushing us, like, all right, you guys have an Instagram. We didn't know what the flip we were doing with an Instagram. We didn't know why we had an Instagram. We didn't know where we were trying to get. She's like, you guys need to make videos like for YouTube.
You can make people laugh, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that side of the aspect is kind of where Dad's side of the family, where we got this humor from, to where we can literally make the worst situation fun, and we can take jokes and we can poke fun, and that really came from Dad's side of the family, and it's always been there. And so, anyways, Mom pushed us to start this channel, and that's where the channel started. Was in Mom and Dad's garage.
The crazy thing, though, was like a lot of people grow up watching YouTube channels and like loving YouTube. We never did that. I didn't know people had channels. I didn't know that.
No, it really wasn't a thing. This is 2018.
And which
2018.
people were deep in YouTube. The only reason I got on YouTube was to learn how to fix something, was to watch a music video. I didn't know there were average people doing stuff
Making
every week and
content.
posting it. And so when we started researching into that, it's like, we could do this.
Yeah.
And we love Jeeps. We already are building it. So it's like, just film it.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
And that was yeah, Mom and Dad sold their house because the housing market was like at a huge peak. And Brady had sold his house, the first house that he built, because the housing market was at a huge peak. And Brady started building his house, and more or less, like, he didn't just throw the house together. He was building it as he went. And so when my Jeep moved into his garage, there wasn't even garage doors on your garage yet. It was the dead middle of winter. It was so cold, like, there was no heater. There was no, I don't even think, was there lights? There wasn't lights in it yet. I remember putting the lights in your garage while my Jeep was in there.
It was literally just a covered parking
Yes,
spot.
yes.
Which at that point, that was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, I
because
couldn't believe it.
It was always outside. Like,
Yeah.
if Mom and Dad's garage was full of probably our stuff or just crap, we were on it outside. It didn't matter. You changed your O-rings in your old 7.3
Oil cooler and
You got to be under the truck. He was in the snow, water dripping all over him, trying to change his O-rings in like 0-degree weather. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh.
And I put it together. It leaked.
Yeah.
I took it back off, put it all back together. It leaked. I did it 4 times. And it was like 0, and I was in the snow, and I was like 15. Oh
That
my
sounds
gosh.
Terrible.
That was another time where I saw that, and I was like, this just isn't happening. It didn't matter that it was you. It might as well have been me under there, but that's just not happening anymore. We're not living like this. Like,
So yeah.
This is really the start of Peck Brothers. Like, in our parents' garage, I remember Brady got a hold of somebody. I think it was off of Facebook, and they had an LJ tub. And Brady's like, I want an LJ so bad. So he's talking to this guy. He's like, I got an LJ tub. He's in Oklahoma. And then the guy's like, I have a bunch more parts. What do you need? And he's like, I got an LS, a 4L80, an Atlas, coilovers, all this stuff. So Brady's like, Caleb, you need those parts.
I had just sold my Jeep because I was fixing to build the ultimate TJ. Like, I was going all I could at it. I just got back from my mission, and I was ready to build a coilover LS. Like, it was going to be sick.
And I was building an LJ as well, kind of building, but I needed coilovers, and that guy had a set of Kings. And so we had never ever. If we left the state of Utah, it was like to Idaho or like,
Right past the border.
dude, Oklahoma was like a different continent.
Yeah.
And Brady's like, dude, we can take my truck, we can take my trailer. Let's all go to Oklahoma and get these Jeep parts. And that was so foreign to me. Like,
It was insane.
we're going to be in the truck for 3 days, something like that. And
we filmed it. That was the very first Peck Brothers video, was us going to Oklahoma and that adventure.
we knew nothing about storytelling, nothing about how to make a video, nothing about editing. We knew nothing, but we picked a phone up. We put a tripod on.
You edited that video, didn't you? Yeah. Dude, iMovie
Crazy.
back in the day.
iMovie, yeah. I like learned how to use iMovie from like school projects.
But in that video, so see, that was 2020.
Was it?
And in that video, we bought your LJ, his white LJ he still has, and on the way we bought my TJ in Colorado Springs that I still have.
Yeah.
That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
That 5 years ago on the 25th of August.
See, really?
That's when this podcast is just about to drop. Right around that time, 5 years ago is when we both bought our Jeep a day apart.
See, and what's so funny is like inside we all have this emotional tie to all that because that was like the beginning, right? It was early stages. It's what there were so many things, so much magic going on back then, right? And now you see a thumbnail with my Jeep in. It's like, oh, this is gonna do good. People are gonna love this, and it's like doesn't do well. People they don't know the stories here.
Yeah.
They don't know how deep this runs in our bloodline. Like,
They don't know how much it means to us, and it's impossible to convey how much that means to you in a short amount of time. Like, this is the only way you're going to find out how much this means to us, is to listen to this podcast and listen to this story.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was where the channel started. I think we made 3 videos.
I think, yeah, there was a first road trip, and, it probably took me a couple weeks to edit that thing because I didn't have that much time. I was in school.
It was clear
working.
full of copyrighted music.
I didn't know all of that. I knew that you could get copyrighted, so I just went on YouTube, typed in
copyright-free music.
Copyright-free music,
There was
and
some
it
sick
wasn't.
music too.
So we did that video, and then we did a video. Was it Trail Hero, or did we just go to Sand Hollow?
The guys trip. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Trail
We had
Hero.
2 Trail Hero videos.
That was
were
our,
part
that
one
was
and
our
part-
first Trail Hero.
Yes.
And these were like months apart, never on a weekly basis. And then it kind of petered out.
I
I
gotta
moved
clarify
back.
too, 'cause those videos aren't on our channel anymore. But I found them this morning. I deleted them off YouTube. Thought they were gone forever.
Deleted them because of the copyright music
Yeah.
that I used.
Yeah, because we were getting jacked. YouTube doesn't like that. And so we found them this morning, and that's why I've been thinking about it. And I want to come up with some sort of way where we could I'll try and get rid of the copyrighted music somehow, and either put them on this podcast, and maybe we go through them and explain what was going on, or something like that. But yeah, we made 3 videos over the span of probably 2 months, 3 months. The first one was in obviously August, and by October, all 3 videos were probably out, and we didn't know what we were going to film after those.
It was so funny because I watched those videos over and over and over again. Every time we'd
I did
come
too.
together and, hang out,
We
it was,
thought
dude,
they
let's
were
turn
so
up.
good.
They're so funny. You guys, we see someone at the gas station, you have got to see this video we posted. It is the best video. If we watched it now, dude, it's so freaking cringy.
It would be
They're
hard
terrible.
to watch.
They are. I watched some of them this morning,
And
and
that
they're
was
terrible.
only 5 years ago. And it's like, I have second-hand embarrassment for me, watching me.
Yeah, so
Horrible.
that started in August of 2020, and then by that December New Year's is when Mom and Dad sold their house. And so that was when my Jeep, I had just started the Jeep build. We went to Oklahoma to buy all these parts. I just started this Jeep build, and that was when my Jeep went to Brady's. And then shortly after this time, I got married the next August. We didn't make any videos the rest of that year. I got married in August to Lou, and after we got married, I started to work for Brady, and
Yeah, the channel just kind of
just died. Yeah,
It
there
did,
was
because we just had so much going on.
Yeah,
we were
it's crazy.
far
I
apart.
moved back down to Utah to work.
It started getting so hard to make the content, to get together, to do something and get something done.
and it was so far from making money. It was not. It was costing. It was
yeah.
like I don't even think the channel was monetized. Well, it wasn't
No.
because all the music was copyrighted. We
Yeah.
didn't have 1,000 subscribers. So to get monetized on YouTube, you got to have 1,000 subscribers and you got to have 4,000 hours of watch time, or at least that's what it was back when we started. And so after I got married, I went to work for Brady, and I freaking hated it. I hated every minute of it.
The thing about Caleb is he would always get there with a good attitude. You know, he was happy to be around you. He was, he wanted to make the jokes and make the workplace fun. But from day one, when the kid was born, he hated construction. He hated busy work. He hates putting his head down and nailing on base molding and sanding moldings and, doing whatever it was we were doing, prepping for concrete. It didn't matter. Caleb freaking hated it. And I remember him clearly telling me, I can't stand, because we had a whole bunch of different jobs. Like, you could do anything. We had
there was
10,000 things
there
to
was
do.
like 5 different homes getting built.
Yeah, it's like pick one and do it. And he's like, I just hate the jobs you could teach a monkey to do.
That was exactly what I said.
And I remember thinking that, like, well, man, for me, like, I'd like to get in, get it done, and get paid. Like, I don't care if a monkey could do it or not. But that was my mentality.
Yeah,
Caleb hated
I
that.
didn't mind tile. Like I didn't mind laying tile because it was kind of tough. Like you had to think about it a little bit, but I hated it. But I mean, I had no choice. I had no money. I was married. We were renting a place. I had to make ends meet, and so that winter rolled around, and we were building this huge house. And
Well, you got to go a little bit back, because you remember, we have that Dan. If anybody watched that video on Pritchett Canyon, that he rolled his Jeep twice. He is a loan officer, did mortgages. Caleb came back from his mission and was thinking, I'm gonna probably do loans, because Dan was doing very well.
I was
Caleb's
all over the place.
He's
though.
a people person. He loves, connections. He's like, I think I'd be good at that. So he was thinking about going to school doing mortgages.
I was like, when I was on my mission, I applied to go to Utah State University, and I didn't get into Utah State.
Yeah.
And that's like everybody gets into Utah State University. Like it's not like it's Yale. It's not hard to get into, and I didn't get into it.
But he's a negotiator, and he would make a phenomenal attorney, because he's so good at arguing.
That was what I was gonna say. It's like my whole life I've actually I was planning on going to business school. I applied to go to Weber State University, and I got in, and I was going to go to business school and then go to law school, because that was what I wanted to do, something that I would be good at, and I knew that I'd be good at it. I can remember anything.
I don't
Verbally,
know.
I can talk.
I don't know how you didn't get into Utah State. Like Caleb has, if it's not considered a photographic memory, but he has got the most insane memory I've ever seen in my life. He can watch something or see something or read something, and he'll remember it forever.
It's wild.
It's insane.
Like, I remember a part of his life where he started researching into like bullets and tips and trajectories and all this stuff. And I guarantee he could still tell you all of that information today.
Oh, yeah.
And that had to be 10 years ago.
He could teach the guy selling it to you.
It's wild. Anyways,
I got lucky enough to be able to remember almost everything that's crucial and pretty much forget everything that doesn't matter. Like a lot of people can have pretty good memories, but I got lucky enough to remember the important things. But anyways, I was going to go to law school, and to be honest with you, the reason I didn't was because I didn't have a job, and me and Lou couldn't make enough money to live in the valley, and we couldn't rent somewhere. And so we found somewhere up here where we could afford. So I went to work for Brady. And anyways, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea what I was going to do. And winter rolled around, and we were working on this house, this huge house, like 12,000 square foot house. It was massive. And it was during like the ending, coattails of COVID. And so, the supply crap was all to crap. And you guys couldn't get base molding for the house. Base molding. And so that whole entire house, all the base molding in it was cut out of a huge sheet of MDF, particle board, and individually routed and sanded pieces of base molding in a 12,000 square foot house. There's like miles of base molding in that house.
And for context, they have machines that
do
this.
Yeah, they just pump out base molding and then prime it.
Because it takes way too long to be doing this by hand.
So I was obviously the least vital employee, or least vital part of the team. It was me, Brady, and Dad. And so they were doing things that were important. And I was the idiot that got stuck sanding every piece of freaking base molding.
There was a stack, probably 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, and 16 feet long.
There was 3 stacks that size. I wanted to die every day. It was like everything that could have been bad about the job was bad about the job. And it took me like 2 weeks straight every day of doing this.
You probably
There's footage.
Oh,
there's footage of this. This is where the channel got revived.
It was because of that house. I woke up one morning. I think maybe I talked to Lou, she talked to me, and I came to work and I was like, I am done doing this. I'll sand these moldings and I'll get done with this, and I'm going to work here as long as I need to, but no matter what, I'm gonna be done doing this. And that was like a switch flipped in me.
You came to work that day and told me the same thing.
Yeah, well, the next day I came to work with a tripod and my phone and an idea. And I sanded flipping moldings all day, made a video, literally all day, got done, and then it's dark, went up to Brady's house and kept working on my Jeep and filmed it, because that was pretty much what I did every day. I was newly married, going to work, and then I'd come work on my Jeep till like 1. And that was what the video was. My father-in-law heard that I was doing this and borrowed me his iPad so I could edit these videos on this iPad, because I had nothing. I had my phone. And it was on iMovie. And that was the very first video that we had made in over a year. And I was like, I'm dropping a video every single week, no matter what, until I don't have to freaking do this anymore. And I was listening, every day. It was like something changed in me. I had my AirPods in, listening to podcasts about storytelling, listen to podcasts about success and business, editing, you name it. I had no idea how to edit. I was self-taught, I guess, how to edit. And since then, we've probably only missed 2 handfuls of videos
ever.
And that was 4 years ago. And that's where it started. And so I finally worked through that spring. It started heating up. I finally got my Jeep done. And this whole story matters because I was trying to get my Jeep done, and I had a place that I was renting, and me and Lou were actually sharing her car because I couldn't afford Jeep parts. So I had to sell my truck to try and finish this Jeep. And Brady more or less kind of came to me and was like, dude, like, you don't need to come into work today. Keep finishing your Jeep. Like, I'll take care of all this stuff. You finish your Jeep. And I was like, dude, I've got to pay rent too. Like, I this has to be somewhat, I have things that I have to pay for. And he's like, if you can't pay for your rent, I'll pay your rent. Just don't stop. And I was literally making videos by myself for like probably 6 videos.
If you notice in those videos, if we have any of them still, Caleb will be working on his Jeep all day. And then at the very end, I'll trickle
Brady
in
will
and come
come
help him
in
for a minute.
Yep.
And then I'll go to bed, and Caleb will keep finishing whatever he was doing. And then somehow, I don't know when you did it, but then you'd put it all together and edit it and post it up.
And luckily enough, I was smart enough at the time to figure out copyright, things. We get our music from like Epidemic Sound and Artlist and like a couple of these places, and they have a subscription that's like $10 a month. And I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to, I hooked it up to my personal account and was like another $10 a month. And it stayed on my personal account for 2 years.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's why some of those videos are up still, is because luckily I put the right music in them so they could be monetized. They're still up. Our very first videos of restarting, I guess, the channel.
Which were all about your Jeep.
Which were all about my Jeep, yeah. And then we got my Jeep done. We took it to Moab. It was all exciting. It was so,
And in our minds, this Jeep was going to put us on the map.
Yeah.
The world hadn't seen a Jeep like, according to us, it hadn't seen a Jeep like this. And we're talking like the frame was modified, the motor was hand built,
everything was
heavy
hand
duty
built,
transmission and an Atlas transfer case, 1-ton axles that were bulletproof, 43-inch tires, like linked and coiled suspension. This Jeep was gonna break the internet. And we posted that video up thinking, this is it. This is our break. This is where Peck Brothers is.
Here comes 40 million views.
Yeah, here we go. Here, hold on to your pants, because this is going to go wild.
Yeah.
And it didn't get any more views than I don't think the builds did.
No. And honestly, there's still people watching since they found us on those videos,
True.
which
That's
is
pretty fun.
crazy. I mean, you imagine the progression of our channel since then.
Oh, my gosh.
But anyways, that was what happened. We got my Jeep done, and then Alex was kind of, because he was living in Salt Lake, and we didn't see each other very much because Alex was working a lot, and he was actually making some good money, and he was kind of like, he'd watch the video come out, and it was like,
I would, dude. I would sit there because I knew you were making a video, and I had a TV in my room, and I'd wait for it to drop because I wanted to know what went on up here. When I was gone, I'd freaking watch that thing. And then we went to Moab for that trip, and that's the first time I saw your Jeep really done and painted and everything. And I was like, this is cool. And, that video, it's still up there. We shot that video, and then I went home, and I'm like, we got to keep doing this.
We need another Jeep.
Yeah,
we
like,
need to do something.
I don't have a Jeep. Well, I did have a Jeep. It was just a little TJ. I'm like, I need a real Jeep. And so I started looking, and that's when I bought my JK that we have just a couple months after Moab.
was it really?
Yeah.
It was?
You got me pumped on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So I bought that pile of junk, and then really that's when it was kind of like, hey, let's really start doing this like all together. And so I would work 410s, and Thursday night I'd come up here and I'd spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday up here doing videos, go back, work 410s, come back up here every single week.
Yeah.
Was that 2021 or 2022?
2021.
Yeah, it was a lot of driving, a lot
And
of work.
we had less than no content strategy. I think I remember fixing Dad's trailer on our it was just like, what on earth can we film this?
But we were just so confused because we're looking at, different channels. Well, this guy's a vlog channel. Are we a vlog? I don't know what we are. Do we build Jeeps? Well, not completely, because we do other things too that we have a lot of fun that we can make good content with. What do we?
We didn't know what good content was.
When
though.
you run out of stuff to film fast,
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
doing it every week and have full-time jobs, it's like we can't go to space this week.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. Well, I remember so when I started filming those videos, sorry to back up, in January 4th, 2021, That was when the switch flipped in me. I always remember when January 4th rolls around, I think about that day. It's a little bit like almost sacred to me because I'm so emotionally involved in what we're doing. This is not just a job to me. And we had 327 subscribers in January. And I remember making a video that was thanking everybody for hitting 400 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And I remember when we hit 1,000 subscribers and we had 4,000 hours of watch time. And I remember the first check from YouTube. And it was like, I think it was like $80. And I was like, dude, this could pay for the music subscription finally. But I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to keep paying for it personally. And we'll use this money for some fuel so we can go do some videos. And that was pretty much, I mean, we went for months after that with like the channel wasn't growing by any sort of meaningful anything. And we just kept making videos. We just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going.
And this is where our personalities come in. Like, we beat things into submission.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, none of us really take no for an answer.
Yeah.
None of us do.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not working, but you know what? How far are we from gold?
Yeah.
Are we 3 feet from gold here? Do we give up now? It's like, how can you give up on this when you're this far in? This small, we have nothing to lose. Like, how do you give up on this?
I wanted to give up so many times.
So many times.
And my wife is really the reason that I never gave. She just wouldn't let me. And I do remember thinking, you know, if I give up now, I'm really an idiot because of how much I put into this, you know? Like, I at least owe it to myself to get a little bit of my time and energy back and make it worth all of what we put into it. And so we just kept freaking going. And there was really no hope. We weren't growing. We weren't making any money.
Completely on the side. All of us still had jobs.
I was flipping trucks. I was done working construction. I did not want to go back and
there
work
was
construction.
a few months we just paid Caleb.
Yeah.
The business
we would pay
paid
his
Caleb
rent.
a few bucks and paid his rent because
Yeah.
he was editing and filming and all of that in those times, and Alex still kind of had his job for a while, and I was still working construction.
It came to a point where I was working for a race team. We would go race Baja with this UTV, and
that was pretty fun. We went and did a video down in Vegas. We went down to the Mint 400. And we pitted for him, and that was a really fun video.
It was pretty fun. But he did drywall. The owner did, he had a drywall business, and it was starting to kind of slow down. And I remember every day I go to work being like, man, this is completely for fun for him. It's easy just to cut this off. And he came to us one day, and he brought me into his office. He's like, dude, drywall's in the toilet. He's like, I got to let you guys go. And it was me and this one other guy, and this other guy was like 35 or 40 with a family. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I'll make it through this, but that poor guy, it was a pretty sad day. It was a pretty somber day, and I remember calling you guys. I was like, I don't know what to do. And that was the day where it was like, if we don't go, well, at least in my mind, I don't know if it was for you, but it was like, this will never take off if we don't give it our full time and attention.
I feel like my social medias just flooded me in that time that was like, jump all in or get out.
Yeah.
And I remember that being such a big thing, and at that time, for all of us, it was like, is now the time, or is it just, how, is it responsible to do that? We're married, the two of us are married.
Well, so that was kind of the thing is this happened. Let's see. My Jeep got done. You bought your Jeep. We went a whole nother year of making content until that next spring. I just remember this because I pulled my Jeep apart and I was going to put twin turbos on.
Yeah. So that was
the next
into 2022, summer of 2022.
So 21 is when it started. That was a whole nother year. So 2022 is when I tore my Jeep apart because I was going to twin turbo it because I thought people's going to care about that. And we need to get this channel going. And Lou was pregnant with Bo. And that for me was when it was like, because she couldn't work anymore because she was so sick. She's counting on me to make ends meet. And that for me was when it was like, this has to work. And if it's not going to work, I need to pivot because my family's got to have this.
This was all around the exact same time.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember all of us got together and it's like, we need to jump in or we need to leave.
But we had made content for over a year and a half
without
with no money,
getting paid anything, funding
zero money,
everything out of pocket. You know, we didn't have that much. Like, we made decent money, but like,
I was selling snowmobiles, I was selling trucks just to pay rent and food.
And it was around that time where it was like, okay, let's jump in. Like, this could take another 20 years if we keep doing it on the side, giving it half attention, whatever. And so instead of coming down on the weekends or coming up here on the weekends to work, I would start coming up Monday morning, work all week, and then going home. So this was full-time, not having another job, funding everything out of pocket, and that lasted probably a year and a half or 2 years where we didn't get paid.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah, yeah. And then that summer was when Bo was born, and my turbo system, we finally had finished it. Took it to the dyno, blew the motor.
Yeah, everything you had in that thing.
I didn't even have a truck. Me and Lou were back to sharing a car. I've got a brand new baby. Lou's not working.
Not getting any views.
Not making any money. And we put out a shirt.
Yep. Oh man.
And we were trying to get my Jeep done for Trail Hero. It's like our favorite trip every year. And we put out this shirt because my motor was blown and I had no money. And in the shirt said don't be cylinder 7 or something like that.
Because cylinder 7 was the one that quit.
Yeah, it gave up the ghost. And Brady had this idea. He's like, we're gonna pull all of these pieces out, and we're gonna sell each piston. We're gonna sell the crankshaft, and we're gonna sell all of the pieces, and we're gonna put them in mason jars. And we're gonna, because we got these subscribers. I mean, we had a fair amount of people watching. We probably had 5,000 subs, and
they all cared so much.
They
watched every video. They loved everything we did.
Salt of the earth people.
Felt like family.
Oh yeah.
And we made this shirt. I think Alex made the back design, put it on Canva.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any of the shirts, and because we didn't have any money, so we pre-sold these shirts, and I think they were like $50 a shirt.
Which
Mom
helped us a bunch.
Mom helped us put this thing together. I made this little graphic of this piston that was broke to put on the shirt, and within 2 weeks, we had sold all of the parts in the motor. I think the parts sold in the motor in the first 3 days.
Minus the crankshaft.
Minus crankshaft.
So you could pay more to get a shirt and a
piston.
A part, or you could just buy the shirt.
In this shirt, within 2 weeks, we were like out of the amount that we had ordered, after we had ran it. And I think it was within 1 week we had made enough money to put a new motor in my Jeep.
Yep. As cheap as we possibly could.
Yeah, I mean, Summit Racing stepped in and was like, we're going to give you a good deal on all these parts, and that was part of the reason we were able to do it. But I remember, I definitely, there was tears. With, it's still, I'll meet somebody that,
they'll show up with a piston in their hand.
Yeah, or, they'll have that shirt on, and it's like, people just don't know, what we were going through,
what that meant to us.
Yeah, and, it still means, and maybe even means more now, being, how little we were and how,
the trust that people had in us.
They just wanted to help, They wanted to be there for us. And they were, and this motor also blew right before 24 Helenback, which Marvin it had invited us to. We were tiny. And Marvin was like somebody that we looked up to. His channel was much bigger than ours, and we loved flex rocks and rollovers.
Yeah, for years we'd been watching that thinking we would die to be invited to go to something like that.
Yeah, it
would
was a
be
big
the most
deal.
amazing thing ever, and we're going to show up with a twin turbo DJ.
Yeah.
This is our big break.
Yeah. So that happened. The motor blew, and I couldn't get a motor back into it fast enough. In the meantime,
6 days before
yes.
Helenback.
And so in the meantime, Alex was building his Jeep while I was building my Jeep. Alex's wasn't even close.
Yeah, like weeks, maybe even months from being done.
And so we literally came home, and we dang near didn't leave your garage. We were filming videos still in Brady's garage. The shop wasn't built. And
grinded.
Oh my gosh. I don't think we've ever put in that many hours. And
that was such
nuts.
a fun memory though.
It was. And those were some pretty good videos. And they did
Yeah.
people liked them a lot.
Yeah, it was a
And
journey for sure.
We pulled it off. We got Alex's Jeep done for Helenback.
Do you guys remember the party that the girls threw us?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we had worked, this was probably 4 or 5 days straight, like probably 18-hour days in the shop for days on end to try to get my Jeep done. And I remember being so emotionally drained and physically drained. And without even knowing, the girls, their wives, our mom, and my girlfriend at the time, which is not my wife, they went and got these balloons, and they wrote us these sweet letters. And they threw this party. I think it was to go to 24 Helenback.
Yeah, it was, because it was such a big deal to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading this note that my girlfriend wrote me that was like, just saying like, you're working towards your dreams and you're doing this and you're doing this. And I started tearing up, and I was just like, this means more than just another Jeep trip, or just more than just building this Jeep. Like, my brothers and I are out here in this shop building our dreams, like following our dreams and doing everything physically possible to do it. Like,
it might help the context for people to understand that when you have a small channel, doing a collaboration with a big channel is a huge opportunity. And we had never done a collaboration with anyone ever yet. And so it was a huge deal to us. And we got a little bit of some traction from 24 Helenback after we had.
But then also the connections that we made. We met
Yeah.
Rory.
We met Rory at 24 Helenback.
We're best friends with Rory. We met Paul from Fab Rats. We met, Marvin. I think that was the first time we'd actually met Marvin in person.
I think it was.
yeah, you're probably right.
We met Andrew Bailey. We met Ian Johnson.
Justin from Warren.
Justin from Warren. And
tons of good people.
like, it was so sick too, because like I remember a couple of days before Helenback, KC had sent out all these lights, and they were sitting in the shop, and it was like, we got to put all these KC lights on Alex's Jeep, and it just felt like some speed was finally, we had a story to tell.
What it felt like was people cared at that point. Like we felt like somebody. We felt like we were bringing value instead of just making videos.
Yeah.
People were on board with what we were doing.
Yeah. So we did Helenback and got back. Things were, we obviously didn't pick up any steam until, because Helenback is filmed usually in like September, doesn't come out until December. And so we
didn't even make a video.
We didn't make a video about it because it was,
We mentally couldn't.
we were all done.
Oh, man, we were so tired.
But people knew that it was going on. Those videos did well. We kind of kept getting some onesie twosies in. And, I guess onesie twosies. We didn't stop. We actually filmed a video every single week. And the first big start on the pickup of the channel was that collaboration, again, with Hunter Goodrich. And that was in December. It was the end of November or December. And you met him at like Chipotle, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, because he worked for Heavy D, and we love Dave and whatever, so we'd always watch his channel. I remember seeing Hunter Goodrich at Chipotle in Bountiful. I would have forgot about that. And I went up to him, I'm like, dude, it's cool to see you here. I see you on your videos. I was fangirling because, he's a smart kid. He gets crap done, and he knew who we were. And he's like, dude, let's do something.
He knew who you were?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I guess...
God, I can't remember. I feel like he did because that's when I think I got his number or something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when we coordinated the video, I think.
Yeah, I think that is probably right because we were a little bit bigger by then. I think we had about 15,000 subscribers in that December. And so...
It was 17,000.
17,000.
I remember that.
And so that was when that stub truck or cheap versus expensive off-road vehicle, you can go watch that video. That's really was one of my favorite videos. It was really fun to make it. And he had a couple 100,000 subs. And so we kind of started getting some of this traction. And
so that and Helenback both hit in December.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that was the very first month that was like, we actually got a payout from YouTube that was like, all right,
couple bucks,
and it was less that and more like there's actually potential here. Like we could actually do this on this amount of money. Yeah. And then shortly after we got invited from Matt to the Matt's Off-Road Games, and that was in December or January that we got invited. And that was really exciting because, again, another, collaboration. And
do you guys remember, it was sometime that fall, maybe November, we all got together and we had a meeting and we're like, I don't know how much longer we can do this.
Oh, yeah.
It was in Brady's kitchen.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on the countertop.
All three of us were thinking the same thing because there was no money.
And that was in October.
We had ran through savings accounts.
It's the one I'm talking about. Gabe was in tears. He was so
probably
emotionally.
That one,
Yeah.
It was like, we were selling our trucks to keep funding the channel. We were trying to flip stuff, trying to keep stuff afloat, and there was just no money. And we were just like, how much longer can we beat our head against the wall and not see anything?
I told Brady that I was ready to give up. And because Bo was like 4 months old. And I was like, I literally can't pay for diapers, and we don't have any money.
See, and that sounds like, he was really hard. He was thinking about quitting. When Caleb came to that realization, he was a little bit of like the guy that was like, hey, we're pushing. We're getting this video out. It's going. Don't give up. We're going to make this happen. When Caleb came and said, I don't know if I could do this, I was like,
that's a problem.
Crap.
It was a pretty real moment too because of that, and I was very surprised when Brady was like, dude, we can't give up. Let's just give it 6 months. Let's push as hard as we possibly can for 6 more months. We can do anything for 6 months. If you need a couple bucks, we'll round up a couple bucks.
And that would have put us into March. And so March was kind of the time where it was like, if we're doing the same as we are now, like, this dream's over.
But something that just hit me, we were on two different ends of the spectrum. You two were like trying to fend for your lives. You guys were fighting off the wolves every morning with, I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to get to work. Probably Alex. Caleb's, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this next set of diapers. That was the mentality. For me, it was like, my business is finally thriving. I just built a massive house, just built a spec home and sold it. I finally know how to do my job after all these years. I've worked through and learned the hard things that I need to learn. I've finally figured it out. This is fun. Like, this is getting somewhat enjoyable.
And to be
And
honest
then-
with you, that had something to do with my discouragement too, because I was always like, I know that if I'm involved with Brady, no matter what it is, it'll be successful. Like if Brady's involved, and I felt so guilty that I had like taken a lot of that from him. And so it was kind of like, dude, I know you're so much better off like elsewhere. And like, yeah, I was just
See, I
done
never-
feeling like that.
That's
And-
crazy. I
and-
never felt like that at all. I was always just like, man.
Well, I didn't want to put it in your mind.
Yeah,
I was a
want-
little bit
I was the
nervous.
same way.
You know, I didn't want to say it out loud.
It's crazy because I thought, you know, I'd give this up in a second if it could fund what I needed to fund. You know, even I'll take a massive pay cut. It just has to be able to just at least cover a few of my bases. I can live off savings for a little while, and then finally we did. We came to that point in March. It's like, hey, we got till when? Well,
March.
Till
It
March.
was
like
yeah.
March
I think it was
15th
in
or something.
October that we were talking about it. And I think it's important too to realize like I was so emotionally at the end of my line because like people don't understand. I edited every single video every single week. And I normally spent about 15 to 20 hours on just editing. And so I was working like 100 hours a week on no money.
that in itself sounds hard, but you got to think of the logistics of this. We would film throughout the week, usually get done Saturday night
Yeah. Yeah,
with what we were doing with ending the video, the outro, and then he would edit all Saturday night, and our video was coming out on Sunday morning.
there were so many videos that I had just barely finished them,
Yeah.
and they came out at 6 o'clock in the morning on
Yeah.
Sunday. Like more than I could even count. Like probably more than 100 of them.
And then he
were
was so
like that.
excited about it, he'd go to sleep, but then he'd wake up and he'd want to watch the video.
And then I would get so excited about the video that Monday morning would come along, and I was so excited to do another one. And I think that is the only reason I was able to do it for so long, because there was nothing that was logical. It was so unrational. You have to love it.
Yeah.
You can't just. There's no part of me that does it for money or that does it for anything other than I love doing it. You know, and I think, like, people ask, like, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And it's like, what do I need to know? It's like,
It goes way deeper than that, man.
if you don't love it, you'll give up. I'm sorry, but if everything in you doesn't love it, you're going to quit. Nobody can handle this.
No.
But if you love it, you'll make it. If you love it and won't quit, you'll make it. So, but yeah, and then all this came to fruition, and we did a couple collaborations. We had some good ideas. Brady found a mini truck for some flippin' reason. I hated the mini truck idea. I was like,
Alex was on board.
Alex
100%.
loved it, and I was like, that is the most ugly freaking vehicle we could physically build. Why are we building a mini truck?
Because we were trying to build the coolest things anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, like we had the capability to build some insanely cool stuff. And at this time, we had just moved into the shop, right?
Yeah.
That spring,
Yep.
right around that time, we had just moved into the shop. I mean, there was nothing in here. There was no loft. This whole podcasting obviously wasn't here. There was no pallet racking.
There were no lights.
There were no lights.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just barely moving into the shop, and things started. That is when the plane had the tires came off the runway, and we were finally in the air.
I think it was that March. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was that March where we each were able to take money.
Was
Was
it
it?
March? It might have been March.
I think that was the first time where me and you took
Yeah.
a check.
Oh,
Yep.
eh.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was
right.
like- And what's funny is that was the month that we were, if nothing had changed, we were going to quit that month. And that was the month
that
that we
was-
grew enough to get paid.
It was so hard because it was like, if we take money, our account's back at 0.
Yeah.
Like, should we not take it? What should we do?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Then we don't have money to go anywhere and do like.
It
make
costs a
any videos.
lot of money to parts
what?
and fuel and Airbnbs and camera equipment and all of that stuff is so expensive that it's like, yeah, we can each take $500, but if we do,
Yeah,
I mean,
we
we
got to
just
pay for gas
we-
out of our pocket.
we just barely got our second camera ever.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been using the same camera Alex got for Christmas
back
3
then.
years ago.
You're talking right now.
Yeah, like a couple months ago.
5
Like,
years later.
like probably 2 months ago, we got the second camera that we've ever had. Like I said, Alex got this camera for Christmas 3 years ago, and we've been using it. Like, just the fact that we've even kept this thing afloat is absurd.
Yeah, that's
It's
mind-blowing.
absurd.
I remember having the conversation with you because at the time we had in-laws. When things were hard for that long of a time, and we talked, we're like, at what point is it irresponsible?
Yeah,
At what
because that matters to us a lot.
It does. You have to look your in-laws in the face and say, you know, I'm planning to take care of your daughter financially in all different ways, but financially is a big one of them.
Yeah,
And we're not doing that.
yeah,
At what point is it like, you know, I'm a man of my word and I'm going to take care of my family?
yeah. I've got to give up this silly dream.
Yeah. Is this actually a dream? Do I want it? Is it possible
Yeah,
to do this from scratch? And then at that time when we took the money, it was like, wait a minute, if we can take $500 or $600 to help pay for our phones and a few things, why couldn't that turn into a little bit more? Why couldn't
Right.
that get a little bit bigger? Why
Yeah.
couldn't it? You know, then at that point it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe we were right.
yeah,
Maybe this is gonna work.
yeah.
Dude, that's the year. Just in that year, we took our first checks. We bought the work truck, which was a huge deal because we'd
Mhm.
always use your trucks because me and Caleb had to sell our nice
we
ones.
never had a decent truck ever.
No. So getting the work truck, that was more than just a truck. That
Mhm.
was like, we are getting somewhere.
We did the boat video that summer.
Yep.
We did. I mean, that was when we started having some videos that were like, those are pretty good videos,
Well, wait a minute.
and they started getting some views.
You're talking. You said we started the mini truck series.
Yeah, that was
I didn't
yeah,
even talk
whole
about that, but
thing.
yeah, that mini truck series.
that was in the
People
spring,
love
winter,
that.
spring.
Loved it. Because at that time there was some hype around the wrecker that, to be honest, none of us even knew about. It was
Yeah.
more like K trucks were like pop
Yeah,
culture.
yeah. Mini
and
trucks were big.
We didn't even really like. That wasn't something that we full on planned. It was more like, that'd be kind of unique and fun.
Yeah,
Let's try it. We've never dipped into anything abnormal. Let's
we
try that.
We caught a little bit of heat for it too. Everybody's like, everybody's on the wrecker craze.
Yeah, we're like,
Like, you guys just hopped on the bandwagon. We're like, dude, if have you seen how often our crap breaks?
yeah.
Like, this isn't to go recover anyone. This is for our stuff.
We're not a recovery channel.
No, and we're
we
not
never
even planning
planned on
no,
being that.
no. None of us ever wanted to do recovery. I mean, it's kind of fun every now and again, but yeah, that was kind of the year that the plane left the runway and we were finally in the air, and it was finally like, I mean, all of my in-laws were always like insanely supportive.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, like, I'd come over and they'd have our video playing, and like they would tell everybody about it, like, hey, you need to check out my son-in-law. And I was always so like, I felt pretty proud that they felt like that was cool to talk about me, but it was more like I felt a little bit of like, I need to make sure that this becomes something like these
Great.
people believe in me now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're not going to say, and I told you so. It's
Yeah.
like, man, you had it, you know?
Yeah.
And that lit even more fire, and everyone, but I do think that there had to have been conversations that were like, man, what is he thinking? You know, like life ain't Disney Channel, dude. Like, you know, everyone's like, oh, follow your dreams. But how many people can actually follow their dreams? You know? How many people can actually follow their dreams and it actually pays off or goes anywhere?
Not even can, but do.
Yeah, I mean, everybody
really
guys
probably
can. Yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, progressing on there, we bought the work truck, had a couple of good videos.
Hold on. I got what happened next. We got done with the mini wrecker series. The truck was done. Did our first recovery. We were ready to really break the internet again. And it didn't do anything that great.
No,
it actually had less views than the build did.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, flip. You know, that was probably a waste, but that was a lot of work for a little amount of what it was. And we're like, hey, what are we going to do next? You know, it's probably what kind of content? What are we going to build? Are we going to build? Are we a build channel?
I think it's important, though, to establish the fact that after the mini truck was done, it scarred all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was some of the first times that I got up and didn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go work on that stupid truck.
The reason we love the truck, like all of us love the truck, but nobody sees, you know, watching the videos, there's no 5/8 hose clamps here. You didn't order them. No, I didn't order them. You didn't tell me to order them.
Well, because you didn't order them, we can't finish the idea.
Yeah, we
of the
can't
video.
finish this video. This video is gonna suck because we can't do this now that you didn't do that. And it was like, well, I didn't know, and it was
like it is so
brutal.
much work. It is so much work to build a full blown bottom up vehicle like that. It's insane.
But it wasn't scabbed together.
No, it's built well.
I mean, people can build a lot nicer things than us, but that's a nice truck.
Dude, since we've built that truck, I don't think we've had to work on it since we blew the turbo.
Totally.
Anything other than that, like, you can go start that truck right now and you take it across the country.
Yeah, and do a burnout
it's
in it.
Freaking awesome.
Redline it all the way down the street. It's fine.
But I wanted to establish the fact that we were like, you know, the truck's done. We never want to do anything like that ever again.
Hold on. Let me add. We had people that we won't say who, multiple people, that said, the only reason you guys are getting any views is because of that mini truck. And,
yeah.
And
yeah, because of the wrecker.
The wrecker thing
craze.
Because of Matt. We're like, okay.
Well, we're super grateful that Matt invited us to the games. It got us, you know, to where we can actually sustain things. It did grow us a little bit.
And we're not talking tens of thousands of people. We're talking like we gained maybe a few hundred and then maybe like a couple thousand.
So in the course of this, though, so January we started out, we had 17,000 subscribers. And we hit 100,000 subscribers in August.
At the end of the mini truck. Towards the end
of the mini truck thing. And that was, we said we were going to start our podcast in August, or when we hit 100,000 subscribers, because we didn't realize how fast we were going to hit it. And so we did grow a lot that year.
Yeah.
But our worst videos actually were the videos that we collaborated with people on for some reason.
Heavy D.
We did a video with Dave. Bombed. Like, it was still probably the worst video we've ever put out as far as performance. Mm-hmm. Every video that we did that didn't have us in the thumbnail bombed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal was with that, but yeah. So there were people that were like, the only reason you're getting anywhere is because of the wrecker thing, and
it was discouraging because we're like,
yeah, it was.
Are they right? Or like, do people actually know that's the case?
Yeah, like, nobody cares about us. It's just the fact that we're building a wrecker.
And it's like, we cannot go back to where we were.
No.
Because if we lose our views and we're, the mini truck thing's over and we go back, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I've struggled for 2 years.
Too many
not
ups and
taking
downs.
any money.
Yeah.
And that was the other problem is, like, when we were building the mini truck, obviously, like, the next week we're going to work on the mini truck. And then when that week's over, we're going to work on the mini truck.
Yeah, we get the turbo done, then we get the steering done, then we get this done.
And then it got to the point where it's like, hey, the mini truck's done. Now what?
Yeah. And I think
that made it even worse. Because now it's like, I don't know what to do. we don't have a content strategy. We don't have another build. We're worried our views are going to go down, and we don't like.
Full
That
stress
was
mode.
stress.
It was. And I think we might have skipped a week in there somewhere after the mini truck was done because we had to just like powwow for a
That was
minute. We
this
had to figure
time
out.
of year last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it
It
last
was
year?
last year?
Yeah, we're not talking very long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It's right before Lake Powell.
Yeah. And then I remember what happened.
So, yeah, I remember what happened too. We had like a real serious conversation at mom and dad's. And we were like, I was pretty overworked. And I was really excited with all the positive things that were going on, with the growth that was going on. But I was kind of like, I just don't know if I can do anything for a time. This almost isn't sustainable. Like, I wasn't spending any time with my wife, no time with Bo. She was kind of like, Lou has always been the most supportive person by far to me, but she was like, she loves me. She loves hanging out with me. She loves seeing me,
Well, and as soon
and
as you,
and never did.
as soon as you lose a little bit of hope, like, hey, I thought, maybe a year, maybe we'd get somewhere here. But we're talking years.
Years.
And it's like, is this ever going to stop, or is this just a life I've got to accept?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, we had 100,000 subscribers or so, and we were getting paid. We were taking some money home, but it was like still less money than it cost to live. Like, we were still having to flip things and having to, all this stuff. Like, we still couldn't sustain, where we were. And so, yeah, we had this meeting at mom and dad's, and it was a hard meeting, and it was like pretty brutal. And we came up with a couple of kind of set in stone ways that we were going to run this thing. And it was like, hey, every week it's one of the brothers' turn to direct and produce the video. And then the other two support that, and we're going to run with that because I can't keep doing it. And it actually didn't even come to the conversation like that. I think you said that.
Yeah, and really it was just a solution to some of the arguments that we've had, because it was like, hey, you're overworked, you're filming, editing, trying to come up with the storyline. Me and Alex are busting out work, trying to get whatever X amount done and ordered on time and here and cleaned up and maintenance and everything else. But it was like, okay, well, why don't you do this? Or how about we do this? No, it's not going to work because this is my idea. And it kind of was an argument that was like, all of us had different ideas for these videos. And for me, I just took a step back. I'm like, in order to fix this problem, I need to understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Alex needs to understand where he's coming from. Caleb needs to understand where I'm coming from in all of the different scenarios. So I was like, we're just going to do that. We're going to try it for a time, and I'm going to take a video. And then Alex is going to take a video, and Caleb's going to take a video. And when you're the director of the video, you get the final say. We can put in our ideas and our creative, but that one guy gets the final say, and he's in charge. And when there's not, something gets missed, it's on that guy. Okay? So we tried that for a time, and the very first video we came out was, luckily, our buddy Tyler had a four-wheeler that he told us about long time before that. That we thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool, but
What are we going to do with that?
yeah, what are we getting? It's a busted up, wrecked, totaled four-wheeler that's been sitting in the woods for how long? It was years.
Years, like 6 or 7, 8 years.
Time.
And originally,
And it was in a tree.
we had no idea what we were going to do with it because Brady was like, dude, I want to do this video. And I was kind of like, I don't know
What for?
Yeah, what are we doing? Just go get a four-wheeler and get it running,
Get it
cool
back to the
four-wheeler.
guy?
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with it. And yeah, and out of that conversation kind of came that idea to revive the mini Jeep that we had taken to Moab.
And just roached.
Yeah.
We just got done roaching.
Yeah, and revive that thing and put the mini Jeep on that four-wheeler. And then I was definitely juiced about the idea. Brady directed it. And also something else kind of special happened that week. I was, again, very overworked after having spent, I guess at that point, it had been about 3 years of editing every video every single week. So 20 hours a week times 3 years.
Plus the work of filming.
Plus the work of filming and
full video.
and doing, writing, stories and coming up with things. I was just like, dude, and then the other part of it too is creators will understand this. It's very difficult to have to, like, if somebody was to just film a video, an everyday guy was to film a video and give it to you to edit, it's so difficult. And so I was kind of like, I'm cool with everybody taking their own video, but that 20 hours will turn into like 40 if it's not filmed right. And so I was like, I can't film if I'm not going to be the guy making sure that things are there. I can't handle more work to edit it. And so we threw it out on our story. We're like looking for an editor, and one of our buddies that we had met like 2 years before reached out to us.
We did a video with.
Oh, we did a video with him. Mitch Creel from Wild Horses Off-Road. We had like hung out once or twice. He messaged us and he's like, "Hey, I might be interested in jumping on and helping you guys out." It's originally what he started out with, and I was like, I haven't seen him in forever, so I went and checked out some videos that he put together, and I was like, wow, this is our guy.
Yeah.
It was super sick too, because when he came here, like, we immediately got along with him. He's our age. He loves off-road, and like he's like one of us.
He's a good freaking dude.
Good dude.
He's a solid dude.
And so that was really exciting. And he's like, so when do you, like, I'll figure out how to send you this footage, and when do you guys want to, maybe run it? I was like, what about this week? And he's like, all right. So we filmed that video, sent all of the footage to Mitch, and he edited that video, and it came out and popped off, at least for our standards size.
He did a phenomenal job.
He did such a good job. Like, such a good job as far as an editing standpoint goes. And, that video was really good too. Like, we had kind of rediscovered the channel. And we had figured out kind of the direction that we wanted to go, how we wanted the video to feel, our own kind of style. And from there, we were on fire to get those mini Jeeps done. And
see, and the whole mini Jeep thing, it makes me chuckle when everybody says, "Oh, you guys just copied Grindhard." It's like, well, he did build this little Barbie Jeep that is cool.
It's like
flip.
10 times like
the amount of work and
like,
engineering he put into that.
It's like the
wild.
statue of David.
Yeah.
Like,
Unbelievable.
ours is not like that.
No. But the thing is what people don't know and that we don't explain in our videos is that little mini Jeep was something that we all dreamed of as little kids.
Yeah.
There was a time in the garage back when I was 12 years old doing the Jeep thing. I chalked out with tape on the floor of the garage floor building a go-kart mini Jeep frame to build one of those.
That was on the
back
garage
then.
floor for like a
It
year
was.
or two.
It was. Nobody even
I
took it. It was yellow tape.
I
Yeah.
still remember that.
Yeah.
So it's like you go back and, I just chuckle at these people that think we just copy everybody. But the Wrecker thing, we didn't build it because Matt was building it. It actually, we love Matt's channel, but we're talking about working so much, we didn't watch Matt's channel. Like,
Our channel's always been very different. Also,
very different.
So,
different audience, different things.
but yeah, people always like pick the simplest explanation for people. It's always like the simplest explanation for why people do things the way that they do, and a lot of people I feel like get us wrong, but I think a lot of people get us right.
Yeah, totally. But I was just throwing it out there. It wasn't to beat Grind Hard or to do it better. It was our own flair. It made sense in our content strategy. We just got done giving away or wait a minute, no, the first mini Jeep we had, we brought to Moab.
Yeah.
And roached it.
Yeah.
And it didn't hardly run after because we did Pritchett Canyon.
Yeah.
The hardest trail in Moab.
on a
Steering
mini
was
Jeep.
messed up.
Done.
Then we jumped it, and that broke more crap.
So we already had to rebuild it. And we're like, we need to make this thing freaking sweet. 4-wheel drive, big motor, something nasty. So it worked, right? It's like our whole world just came into one and just funneled us right into that content.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
nowadays, you can't do anything without someone else have done it before. Like, we're young guys, we know that there's guys that did this back in the 80s when we weren't even born. Like, there's so many people on this earth and so many people online that, like, you can't do anything that's not even close to something someone else has done.
Speaking of that too, it's crazy because we'll film a video, and like the same week, another creator that's in our realm will have done like
the same
very
thing.
similar thing, and it was like, all right, nobody can comment here that we're because we were filming the videos at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like
we
yours
don't
was
know
the next
each
week.
other
Yeah, we
at
don't
all.
even talk.
Then
Yeah.
you get comments, you copied him. Goodness.
Yeah.
You name me something you can do every week that no one has ever done for 52 weeks.
We would love to hear 'em.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, comment all you can on those ideas. But if you're one of those viewers and if you've left a comment like that,
We still love you. It's all right.
it's great. But what you've got to remember here is you're not going to find somebody that's reinventing the wheel every single week, but you're going to get their flair. You're going to get their way of doing it, and it's going to be different every
There
single
are
time.
channels, though, that try and literally copy. Like, Mr. Beast runs into it a lot. Like, there's a lot of these whack creators that literally, like, will just study a Mr. Beast video and literally just make the great value Mr. Beast video. I do hate that.
If we do something that someone else has done, it's not because of any other reason than, like, that looks fun. Or we want to do that and do it our way.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with somebody that was a great idea, like, and usually when you see a video from us, it has been in the works, thought of and planned for months. Like, if it's a video kind of like that, I mean, some weeks it's like, what are we going to do?
We have a shared note that's
Full.
miles long of ideas.
Yeah. So that's, along with what you're saying, it's like a lot of these things, like, they come out on, whenever, and it's like, you have no idea how long we've thought about that. And it is funny when, like, the week before we're planned to make that video, somebody drops that same video, and it's like, well, we're going to look like we copied them, but who cares? Whatever.
Yeah. But, to kind of wrap this up, we've talked a lot about our origination, the problems in that we've ran into, building this channel and where we've come. And this is a perfect way to start out this podcast because these are things that don't get talked about on our videos. We're always going to be, clean content that you can have your kids and your family watch together. And that's something that we hold very special to us because we would have killed to have this kind of content as little kids that mom and dad would have let us watch. This podcast here, we're hoping can be kind of a inspirational as well as fun. You can tune in and be entertained, hear of stories, hear of personal things that are going on, hear of videos that have, certain things have happened that don't make it into the videos, kind of behind the scenes, but also some inspirational things that we've learned and we've picked up over time. And that's kind of where we want this podcast to go. It's always benefited us as well as everybody that has followed when we lean into that way in our content. So we feel like it's a perfect way to continue to do that in our podcast. So
all of us are passionate about the podcast because, all of us are very excited about it because of that very reason. A lot of people will say, like, hey, should I start a YouTube channel? And it's like, the biggest question that you should ask is, do you have something to say to the world? Do you have something to bring the world? And all of us have been through what we've been through. Granted, there's people that have been through a lot harder things, but for the things we've been through, they've been difficult for us, and we've learned how to make it through them and come out on the other side winning and on top by the skin of our teeth. But there are things that we've learned that we want to give the world and help people that, you know, might be in the same situation that we were in and that we are in. It sound like I'm talking in the third person, like we have things figured out. We don't have things figured out as far as like we are pretty seat of our pants. We are still learning a ton. Things are still changing a ton. You know, I don't know that we're in our groove perfectly, but yeah, we're all passionate about it because we have something to give the world. And man, when you've got that, you got to give it to it, you know? You got to do it.
We believe that's why we're still here doing it. And we didn't give up all those times that we just talked about. There is a reason, and it's from, we believe God has been a big part of pushing us. And even though it's been a slow go and some hard times, I think he's the one that has kind of pushed this along the way and helped us out when it's been about done for.
We would not be here if it wasn't for him watching over us, and family has been so important to us over the years. It's kept us together, kept us close, you know, kept us good, and it's something that, you know, a lot of people don't have, you know, brothers or close family or anything, and I think having, it doesn't even have to be real family, because I have a lot of people in our lives that like don't have really close family, but like their friends are their close family, or, you know, their uncle's their best friend or whatever. But like those are the kind of relationships that keep you going and that last. And to be able to share a message of like this is a whole family business, you know, like we do this, mom does the merch, you know, dad helps with everything. To be able to have the people in our lives rooting for us that are family that we work with, like it's the best thing. Like I'm so grateful for this family, and if there's one message that we could get across to maybe someone that's younger or whatever, like family is the most important thing. So
For sure.
Yeah. So you could look at it a way of like, okay, here's us and our family, and then here's the viewer. We're separate. But we don't look at it that way. We feel like we're going to post content, you know, whether it's podcast, video, or whatever, and you're going to come and be a part of us. You're going to be there to hang out. You're going to be there to laugh when we laugh. You're going to be there to make fun of each other when it's time to make fun of each other. You're going to be there with us along the way, so you feel like you're part of us. You feel like you're part of our circle, and this podcast is a way where I feel like we can do that even more. We can do that even on a deeper wavelength than we can even in our videos. So there's a lot of things. I can't promise everything that we're gonna have here on this podcast, but you're gonna kind of probably see life and live life a little bit differently after you watch some of our stuff, because we're normal, but we really aren't that normal. We're a little bit odd in a lot of ways.
For sure. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you come back next week. I think we're going to be dropping weekly.
Should be weekly.
If you guys have any, no, it will. If we're going to do it weekly, we're going to do it weekly. If you guys have anything that you want us to talk about or that sounds interesting, leave them in the comments. Let us know if you guys liked this podcast and maybe what we can improve on.
They probably won't end up being all this long. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes in.
Oh, my gosh.
So don't expect them to be this long. I know it's harder to consume longer content. They should probably be around an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that's what you should expect. And thank you guys so much for watching this. This is a dream of ours that we've wanted to do, and we're pumped to be doing it.
And there's our first podcast.
Yeah.